Daniel H. Pink describes what motivates us in his book Drive. As he says, most of us believe that the best way to motivate is with external rewards, but the real secret to high performance and satisfaction is the deeply human need to direct our own lives and do better for the world. We will look more deeply into Pink's toolkit, examining 9 strategies for awakening an individual's motivation.
The first strategy is to give yourself a flow test. In flow, goals are clear and people live deeply in the moment, feeling utterly in control. The flow test challenges individuals to randomly check themselves 40 times per week and write down what they are doing, how they are feeling, and whether they are in flow. Users should record observations and look for behavior patterns.
After completing this test ourselves, we found it was easy to identify certain activities that triggered a sense of flow in our lives. We like the flow test because it encourages us to take an active look at what we're doing in our lives and analyze the effects of our daily routines. This is an easy way an individual can take their intrinsic motivation into their own hands.
The second strategy is to ask yourself the big question. According to Pink, in 1962, Clare Boothe Luce offered advice to JFK. A great man, she told him, is one sentence. Abraham Lincoln's sentence was, he preserved the Union and freed the slaves. You don't have to be president to ask yourself the big question. What is your sentence?
We like the strategy of the big question because it asks us to look forward into our future. Thinking about the legacy we want to leave, we can guide our actions in the present day. My sentence is, Erin dedicates herself fully to each and every task she completes and maintains caring relationships with those she loves. What's your sentence?
Pink's third strategy is to keep asking a small question. He says the big question is necessary, but not sufficient. We need the small question. At the end of each day, ask yourself if you were better today than you were yesterday. Did you do more? Did you do it well? Pink says to look for small measures of improvement and not focus on being flawless.
We like the idea of recognizing small accomplishments every day because it is easy for us to get overwhelmed with all the tasks we have to complete in the long run. When we forget to remind ourselves of the good things we accomplish each day, we tend to get bogged down and feel helpless. The small question helps prevent this.
The fourth way to awaken your motivation is to take a Sagmeister. Stefan Sagmeister decided to snip 5 years from retirement and sprinkle them into his working years, using the time to travel and experiment with new projects. Pink says although it seems risky, it's actually more realistic and productive than many of us realize.
We are not convinced the Sagmeister is feasible for the average employee. How does one convince their boss that a whole year off will help the company? In these rough economic times, it seems unlikely that one person could take a year off and expect to return to their job when others are waiting in line for a job opening.
The fifth strategy described by Pink is to give yourself a performance review. He says we should figure out our goals and then every month give ourselves an appraisal, asking how we are doing and where we are falling short. To make this successful, we need to be honest with ourselves and willing to learn from our mistakes.
To us, the idea of a performance review is particularly helpful. Introspection and critical analysis of one's successes and failures can only encourage growth and a desire to improve. After giving ourselves performance reviews, we have a better understanding of how our daily work has contributed to our overall successful semester.
Getting unstuck by going oblique is the sixth strategy discussed by Pink. He discussed how Brian Eno and Peter Schmidt created a set of cards designed to assist individuals in rising above stressful situations. Statements such as, state the problem in words as clearly as possible, encourage people to think differently about their issues.
We particularly like this strategy because you have the option to follow a Twitter account inspired by the oblique cards. You don't need to purchase a deck of cards to find a spark of inspiration throughout the day. Often all that's needed to get you out of the mud is a small nudge, and the oblique cards are a quick and easy solution.
The seventh strategy to awaken your motivation is to move 5 steps closer to mastery. The 5 steps are practicing to improve, repetition, seeking critical feedback, focusing on where you need assistance, and preparing for mental and physical exhaustion. This is a way to direct your efforts toward a long-term goal or objective.
We find this strategy to be particularly useful because Pink does not mince words. He makes it clear that mastery will require purposeful and sometimes painful exertion, but the efforts will always pay off in the end if you commit to the strategy. We realize that it's easy to become fed up with a difficult process, but results require resilience.
To use Pink's 8th strategy, take a page from Weber and a card from your pocket. All you need is an index card. On one side of the card, answer the question, what gets you up in the morning? On the other side, answer the question, what keeps you up at night? If you don't like your responses, throw the card away and try again until you do.
Although in theory, this seems like a good strategy, we're not sure that you can change your answers to questions like these. We may be able to hope other things will propel us out of bed in the morning, but in reality, the duties and responsibilities of life often can't be edited. However, this is a good tactic when used to identify priorities.
This brings us to Pink's final motivational strategy, create your own motivational poster. Through a variety of websites, such as bighugelabs.com, you can create posters that will actually motivate you because you know what words and images resonate with you. Pink says that you can be as serious or as silly with them as you would like.
We like that Pink acknowledges the grim reputation of motivational posters. For our generation, it's difficult to imagine a poster that is truly motivational without at least a small aspect of cheesiness. The websites give individuals an opportunity to use the images and quotes they find truly inspirational, which is a step in the right direction.
By following these 9 simple strategies presented by Daniel H. Pink, we can find ourselves truly awakened and motivated to live every day to its fullest. We no longer need to limit ourselves to the carrot and stick methods of extrinsic motivation. By phasing out rewards and punishments, we welcome in a culture of intrinsic motivation.